Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss filarial nematodes. So let's start it. So before coming on the details of various types of filarial nematodes, we will see the classification. I will tell you three types of classification. The first classification based on the habitat of the adult worm. So whether they are residing, at which place, at which organ in human body they reside. The second classification is based on the sheath, whether the sheath is present or absent. And the third classification is based on the periodicity. After that, we will see the 7 important species under filarial parasites. So the 7 important species are in front of you. Among them, we will see the detail of Wucheria bancrofti in much detail, and the remaining 6 of them I will tell you only important points, not much detail. So let's start it. So these are the 7 important species which come under filarial parasites. So they are Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai, Loa loa, Onchocerca volvulus. After that, the 3 type of Manzanilla: Manzanilla streptocerca, Manzanilla uzardi, and Manzanilla perstans. So these are the 7 important species. Let's revise it. What are the 7 important species which come under filarial parasites? Most important is Wucheria bancrofti, then Brugia malai, then Loa loa, then Onchocerca volvulus, then the 3 types of Manzanilla: the Manzanilla streptocerca, Manzanilla uzardi, and Manzanilla perstans. So count, they are 7 in number. So they all are in our syllabus. The most important is Wucheria bancrofti. So let's classify them. The first classification is based on their habitat. So the habitat where they reside in human body. There are 3 locations in human body where they can reside. The first is the lymphatic. They cause lymphatic filariasis. The second is the subcutaneous tissue. They can cause subcutaneous nodules in the subcutaneous tissue. And third is the serous cavity like pleural cavity or pericardial cavity. So out of 7, 2 resides in lymphatic, 3 resides in subcutaneous tissue, and 2 resides in the serous cavity. Total they are 7 in number. So the one which resides in the lymphatics are the 2 important one, Wucheria bancrofti and Brugia malai. Please learn it. This classification is ultra important, right? Many questions come from the classification in your exam. The subcutaneous filariasis is Loa loa, Onchocerca volvulus, and Manzanilla streptocerca. And the serous cavity contains the remaining 2 type of Manzanilla. One of them, Manzanilla streptocerca, already there in subcutaneous filariasis. So Manzanilla uzardi and Manzanilla perstans come in this category. So what we have learned? We have learned based on the habitat, we can divide the filarial worms in 3 categories. The one which resides in the lymphatics, the one which resides in subcutaneous tissue, and the one which resides in serous cavity. Okay, so the one which resides in the lymphatics are Wucheria bancrofti and Brugia malai. The one which resides in subcutaneous tissue are Loa loa, Onchocerca volvulans, and one of the Manzanilla streptocerca. The remaining 2 Manzanilla uzardi and Manzanilla perstans, remain in serous cavity. So this is the first classification. The second classification is based on the sheath. So whether sheath is present or not present in the adult worm. Can you see they are 7 in number? So out of the 7, these 3 are sheathed. Can you appreciate the sheath? I will tell you the names, but appreciate the sheath. This is the sheath. So these 3 are sheathed, and the remaining 4 are not sheathed. So there is no sheath in the remaining 4. So which 3 are sheathed among the 7? So it's Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai, and Loa loa. These 3 have sheath. And the remaining all 4, that is Onchocerca volvulans and all 3 types of Manzanilla, they don't have sheath. So first learn based on the sheath. Sheath present or sheath absent. So sheath is present in 3 of them. The Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai, and Loa loa. And remaining 4, they do not have sheath. So what are the remaining 4? It's Onchocerca volvulus and the remaining 3 types of Manzanilla. The Manzanilla, streptocerca, uzardi, and perstans. So you have to learn this. Now after looking at the sheath, you have to see their tail end and you have to see the nuclei at the tail, right? You get many image based question on this concept. Please understand. Now you have to see the nuclei at the tail end, nuclei present or absent, right? So among the sheathed, see this. Among the sheathed one, we have 3 options. So Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai, and Loa loa. And among the unsheathed, we have 4 options. The 3 types of the Manzanilla and Onchocerca volvulus. You can see that. Now let me classify them further. Okay. So you have to see the tip of the tip and the tail end, and you have to see the nuclei at the tail end, the tip of the tail. So let's first see the sheathed one. In the sheathed one, can you see the tail end? Here, see the diagram of the tail end. If no nuclei is present at the tail end, it's Wucheria bancrofti. If only 2 nuclei are present at the tail end, only 2, it's Brugia malai. And if multiple nuclei are present at the tail end continuously, it's loa. And see the head end. At the head end, sheath present, sheath present, sheath present. So these three are the sheathed one, and at the tail end, you have to look for the nuclei. If no nuclei at the tail, it's Wucheria bancrofti. If two nuclei, it's Brugia malai, and continuously many nuclei, it's loa. So in this way, we can further classify the sheathed one. These three are sheathed one. Now these four, so you have understood it. So the sheathed one, look for the tail nuclei. If no nuclei is present, it's Wucheria bancrofti. If two nuclei are present, it's Brugia malai. If nucleus are present continuously till the tip of the tail, it's loa. So you got it. Now let me further classify the unsheathed one. Here we have four options. Again, look for the tail nuclei. If the tail nuclei is present or absent. In two of them, it's present. In two of them, it's absent. So in Manzanella perstans and Manzanella streptocerca, the nucleus is present up to the tip. And in the third Manzanella uzardi and Onchocerca volvulus, nucleus is not present up to the tip. So you can see the tip. Here you can see the tip is there, and here also you can see the tip is there. But no nuclei at the tip, neither here nor here. Here the tip is pointed, here the tip is hooked. The pointed tip with no nuclei, it's Onchocerca volvulus. The pointed tip with a hook and no nuclei, it's Manzanella uzardi. In the remaining two, the nucleus is present at the tip. Can you see the nucleus is present at the tip here, and nucleus is present at the tip here also. So here it's blunt and it's Manzanella perstans. And if it is hooked, it's Manzanella streptocerca. I hope how to identify it, you got it, right? Say you got it or you didn't got it, right? So you have to see the sheath first. The sheath present or the sheath absent. If the sheath is present and the sheath is absent, the next thing you have to look the nuclei at tail, whether it is present or whether it is absent. The nuclei at the tail, whether it is present or whether it is absent at both the things, right? Now in the sheathed one, we have three options. If there is no nuclei at the tip, it's Wucheria bancrofti. If it is present, only two nuclei are present, it's Brugia malai. And multiple continuous nuclei are present, multiple continuous nuclei are present, it's the third one, that is loa. So in this way, we can further classify them. Now, if no sheath is present, the sheath is absent, then look for the nuclei. If nuclei is present, it is Onchocerca volvulus or Manzanella streptocerca. And if no nucleus at the tip, it's Manzanella uzardi and Manzanella uzardi and perstans. So in this way, you can classify them, and I told you the details, which one of them is pointed, blunt and hooked. Based on that, you can further classify them, right? So you can learn these diagrams. You get many image-based questions on this concept. Coming on the third type of classification, the microfilarial periodicity. So what do you mean by periodicity? They have four larvae, L1, L2, L3, L4. The L1 larva is known as microfilary. So microfilary present in blood, the periodicity of that, based on that, we divide them in four categories. If the microfilary comes in the blood only in the night, during the night time, it's known as noctural. If it comes during the daytime, in the afternoon, it's diurnal. And if it comes slightly more in the afternoon or slightly more in the night, but it is present throughout the day, it is subperiodic, and it can be present at any time, it is non-periodic, right? So noctural one is Wucheria bancrofti and Brugia malai. The diurnal one is loa. Subperiodic is Wucheria only, but if it is transmitted through Aedes mosquito. Normally, it is transmitted through Culex, but if it is transmitted through Aedes, it can be subperiodic. And non-periodic one is Onchocerca and all the three types of Manzanella. So this classification is based on their periodicity. So we have learned, what we have learned, the three types of classification. The first classification based on the habitat, the second classification based on the sheath and the nuclei at the tip of the nucleus, and the third classification based on periodicity. Based on habitat, we further classify them in three categories. The one which resides in lymphatics, the one which resides in subcutaneous tissue, and the one which resides in serous cavity. You know which of them belongs to which category. Among the sheath, we divide them in two categories, sheath present, sheath absent. And further, nucleus present, absent, nucleus present, absent. You can do this classification very well. Many image-based question comes on this classification. Coming on the periodicity, we further classify them in four categories. The noctural, the diurnal, the subperiodic, and non-periodic. Now, learning this classification is not important, but examples under this category. Here also you have total 7 options. Here also you have total 7 options. Here also you have total 7 options. So divide them. Which of the 7 is coming in which category in each of the classification. So write down the complete 3 classification over one page and learn all the examples. So you get many questions from the classification, the 3 type of classification, believe me. Okay, now we will discuss in detail Vaucheria bancrofti, the standard headings. Let's start it. So Vaucheria bancrofti, it is known as Vaucheria bancrofti because it is discovered by 2 scientists, Vaucher and Bancroft. It is contributing its discovery. To honor the 2 scientists, we name it as Vaucheria bancrofti. So that is the name of the 2 scientists, right? The adult worm resides in the lymphatics and the larva resides in the blood. That is a unique thing about this worm. Okay, in the morphology, there is adult form, there is larva, there is no egg. In the adult form, there is male, there is female, female fertilize each other, female become gravid, female directly release larva. So it is viviparous. It is viviparous. It is not oviparous. Okay, the adult form is viviparous, I told you, and the larva, there are 4 larvae, L1, L2, L3, L4. The L1 larva is microfilaria, right? That remains in the blood. That is a diagnostic larva. And the L3 larva is filariform larva. That is infective to male. That is present in the saliva of the mosquito. Okay, what is the mode of transmission? The mode of transmission is the mosquito bite. Especially the mosquito is the Culex mosquito. Rarely it can be Anopheles. So especially it's Culex mosquito. The saliva of the Culex mosquito, the saliva contains L3 larva. That is filariform larva. So the infective form here is the L3 larva, filariform larva, which is present in the saliva of the Culex mosquito. It's not like malaria. In malaria, we have Anopheles female. Here it's Culex. Rarely Anopheles is possible. So what is the life cycle? In the life cycle, we have 2 hosts. The definitive host is the man. Intermediate host is the mosquito. Mosquito is Culex. To be specific, it's Culex quinquefacius. Quinquefasciatus. You have to learn the complete name if you can, right? Anopheles rarely can do the transmission. Rarely Aedes can also do the transmission depending on the geographical area. But mainly in India, it's Culex only. Okay, let me tell you the life cycle. Man get infected by mosquito bite. The bite of the mosquito, the saliva of the mosquito get deposited in the blood. It will injected in the blood and the saliva of the mosquito contains the L3 larva. L3 larva will go in the skin after mosquito bite. After going in the skin, it will go in the lymphatic. In the lymphatic, L3 convert to L4, L4 convert to adult, male, female. Male, female fertilize each other and the female become gravid. The female will lay the larva, L1 larva. L1 larva, this is happening in the lymphatics. Adult remains in lymphatics only. But when the L1 larva comes out of the female body, it will go in blood. It will go directly in peripheral blood, right? Now it will remain in the peripheral blood. Another Culex mosquito will come, take the blood meal. So for mosquito, the infective stage is L1 larva. Inside the mosquito, L1 convert to L2, L2 convert to L3 and L3 will go in the saliva. And for man, this mosquito will bite to another human. For man, the infective stage is L3. For mosquito, the infective is L1. You got it? Let me draw it. Let me draw it for you. So let me draw a human being for you. A rough diagram we will draw. So here you can see a human being, a rough diagram of a human being. Let me draw Culex mosquito. This is Culex mosquito. Okay. The saliva of the Culex mosquito contains the L3 larva. So while biting, the L3 larva is deposited in the skin. From the skin, this L3 larva immediately move to the lymphatics. The L3 larva immediately move to the lymphatics. L3 convert to L4. L4 convert to male and female adult. The male-female fertilize. The female will become gravid and she lays L1 larva. This all thing happening in the lymphatic. Immediately L1 larva which is formed in the lymphatic will go in the blood. So L1 larva will go immediately in the blood. In the blood, L1 larva is present, that is microfilary. So in the blood, now another mosquito, the Culex mosquito is coming who is healthy. It is not infected, taking a blood meal. So while taking a blood meal, the L1 larva go inside and L1 larva is infective for the mosquito. Now inside the mosquito, L1 convert to L2, L2 convert to L3 and remain in the saliva of this mosquito. Now this mosquito will go and bite to another human. In this way, it is transmitted from one person to another via the mosquito bite. So that is the complete life cycle. For mosquito, the infective stage is L1. For humans, the infective stage is L3. I hope you got it. Right. This is the complete life cycle. Now I told you the microfilary is always present in blood. When it is present in blood, it is nocturnal. It is present in blood at the midnight. Midnight is 12 a.m. 2 hours before and 2 hours after the midnight. Right. 2 hours before 12 a.m. and 2 hours after 12 a.m. So 10 to 2. 10 to 2 in the night. In the night, 10 to 2. 10 to 2. The microfilary is present in blood. At rest of the time, the microfilary will go in the pulmonary circulation. It cannot be found in the blood. Right. What are the clinical feature? The clinical feature, it is known as Bucheriasis or Bancroftian filariasis. It is of two types, the classical filariasis and the occult filariasis. The classical filariasis is caused by adult form present in the lymphatics, and occult filariasis is caused by the embryos, the L1 larva present in the blood, right? In classical filariasis, basically lymphatics are involved. It is caused by the adult worm, right? So patient have lymphoedema, patient have elephantitis. Can you see elephantitis? What do you mean by elephantitis? The legs get swelled. It looks like the legs of elephant. The swelled legs are looking the legs of elephant, right? It's looking like elephantitis. The genitalia can also be, especially in males, the scrotum and the genitalia can also be swelled. So that is classical filariasis. But the occult filariasis is caused by the microfilary present in blood. So the microfilary present in blood can cause hypersensitivity reaction leading to eosinophilic granuloma. So that is occult filariasis. The microfilary present in the blood only in the night time. That's why it is known as occult. Because microfilary usually not present in blood. In the pulmonary circulation it is present. In the night time from 10 to 2 it is present in the blood. Okay. So classical is caused by the adult form in which lymphatics are involved, and occult is caused by the microfilary present in blood. So basically it's a hypersensitivity reaction in which eosinophilic granuloma will be formed. Right. So coming on the lab diagnosis, when to collect the blood. So what is the specimen? You will collect blood. In the blood what you will get? You will get adult worm? No. In the blood we will get the microfilary. That too during the night time. So the blood should be collected from 10 to 2 or 9 to 2 in the night. But in the night, collection of the blood in a laboratory is difficult. It's a laborious job. No, it's a difficult job because most of the laboratories are closed in the night. The working hours are 9 a.m. in the morning till 5, 6, 7 in the evening. In the night, laboratories are not open. So how collection of the blood and giving the blood to the laboratory in the 24-hour also, it's difficult for the patient also. Going to the laboratory and doing blood collection there, right? So it's difficult. So what to do? If you want to collect the blood in the day, you will get nothing. So I want to collect the blood during the day in my patient, and I want the microfilary to come in the blood during the daytime. For that, I will do a provocation test. I will provocate the microfilary to leave the pulmonary circulation and come in the systemic circulation during the daytime. For that, I will give a drug. The name of the drug is DEC. It is diethylcarbamazine. Diethylcarbamazine is the name of the drug. I will ask the patient to take this drug. The dose is 2 mg per kg. At 2 mg per kg, whatever is the weight of the patient, if it is 15 to 200 mg, I will give a tablet of 100 mg. So as soon as I will give the tablet of 100 mg, DEC will go in blood. So the microfilary will be provocated. They will leave the pulmonary circulation and come in systemic circulation. So after 30 minutes of giving it, we can collect the blood sample. So in the daytime also, we can get the microfilary in the blood. This is known as DEC provocation test, very important PYQ. After collecting blood, we can do 3 things. Number 1, direct microscopy. In the direct microscopy, we can get the various forms. You have to see sheath present or sheath absent. You have to see nucleus at the tip present or absent. Right. Based on that, we can decide out of the 7 species, which species is present. We are currently talking of Bucheria bancrofti. So can you see Bucheria bancrofti? The sheath is present, but nucleus at the tip are absent. So that is Bucheria bancrofti. We can do a Buffy coat examination. So take the blood sample in a test tube, centrifuge it. Once we will centrifuge it, the blood is divided in 3 segments. The lowermost segment contains RBC, the middle segment, this is Buffy coat, and upper segment is the plasma, right? The upper segment is the plasma. So in the Buffy coat, there is high chances you will get microfilary. So take the Buffy coat and make a smear of this Buffy coat, and you can do the fluorescent staining also. So that is quantitative Buffy coat examination. And we can take the blood and we can look for the antigen also. The specific antigen of the filaria Bucheria bancrofti is OG4C3 and AD12. We can look for these antigen via ELISA. So coming on the treatment, the drug of choice is also DEC. DEC used for provocation also, DEC used for treatment also. But in provocation, the dose is 2 mg per kg. For treatment, the dose is 6 mg per kg. So if you give the DEC at 2 mg per kg, the microfilary will not die. Only it will come in the blood from the pulmonary circulation to systemic circulation. You are provocating it. But if you are giving the same DEC at a dose of 6 mg per kg, the microfilary will be killed. At this dose, they are killed. So that is the drug of choice. We are done with Bucheria bancrofti. Let me give you a few important points about the other 6 filarial nematodes. Let's talk about Brugia malai. Brugia malai also cause lymphatic filariasis, like the adult worm of Bucheria bancrofti. This is known as Brugian filariasis. Right. If you see the worm, you can see 2 nucleus at the tip. So it is also sheathed like Wucheria bancrofti. But in Wucheria bancrofti, at the tip, no nucleus is present. Here, sheath is present, but at the tip, two nucleus are present. Two nucleus is very typical regarding Brugia malai. Two nucleus at the tip. You will get this clue in the question, or you will get an image-based question on this question. The next is the Onchocerca volvulans. It is transmitted by bite of black fly, not bite of mosquito. It is transmitted by black fly. It causes river blindness. Can you see? River blindness. What do you mean by river blindness? There is punctate keratitis inside the cornea. Inside the cornea, there is punctate keratitis which will lead to blindness known as river blindness. It also causes subcutaneous multiple nodules. So that is caused by Onchocerca volvulans, especially at the bony prominences. For diagnosing, we can do a skin test. The name of the skin test is Mazzotti patch test. That is Onchocerca volvulus. You will get the MCQs on these points only. The next is the loa loa. It is known as eye worm. It can be detected in the eye. Can you see the eye? In this eye, can you see? Let me mark you. Can you see this worm I am marking? See, it is present here in the conjunctiva. See the worm. We can see it visually, right? So this is the eye worm. It is sheathed and nucleus are present up to the tip, right? And it produces multiple swelling, subcutaneous swellings known as Calabar swelling. It also a PYQ. That is regarding the loa loa. So we are done with all important types of filarial nematodes. The most important was Wucheria bancrofti we have seen in detail, and the remaining whatever important we have seen that. Let's solve some PYQs on it. Okay, let's solve some PYQs. The first question is in front of you. Can you tell me the answer? Microfilary with sheathed tail. In the sheathed we have three options, right? As soon as the word sheathed come, you should be looking for three differential. Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai and loa loa. But out of them, how many have two nucleus at the tip? Nucleus only two. So Wucheria bancrofti have no nucleus at the tip. Brugia malai have two nucleus at the tip, and loa loa have continuous many nucleus at the tip. So out of them, the correct answer here is Brugia malai. If I change two nucleus to no nucleus, answer will become Wucheria bancrofti. And if I change no nucleus, two nucleus to continuous many nucleus, answer will become loa loa. All these three are sheathed worm. I hope you get it, how many questions we can get on this classification. The image-based questions also. Okay, so correct answer here is Brugia malai because they are asking for two nucleus at the tip. You can appreciate the two nucleus at a distance from each other. You can get image also. So see the sheath is present and two nucleus is present at the tip. Right. The next question, what is true regarding Wucheria bancrofti? Is it unsheathed? No. It is sheathed. Okay. It is non-periodic. No, it's periodic. It's nocturnal. The microfilary come in the blood only in the night 10 to 2. Okay. And all of them, no. So the correct answer is tip is free of the nucleus. Yes. There is no nucleus at the tip. It is sheathed, but tip doesn't contain the nucleus. Okay. So correct answer here is B. Can you see this is sheathed? Appreciate the sheath. But if you see the tip is free of nucleus. No nucleus at the tip. So correct answer here is B. Okay. Coming on the next question, which is non-lymphatic filariasis. So I told you based on the location. Is it loa loa, Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai or Brugia timori? So you can see the classification. Which of the following is non-lymphatic? I told you two are lymphatic, Wucheria and Brugia. So Wucheria is lymphatic and both the Brugia malai and Brugia timori is a rare one. They all are lymphatic. But loa loa is subcutaneous. It's not lymphatic. So go with loa loa. You should learn the classification. Again, I am repeating. There are many questions in the PYQs which are from classification. I insist. Okay. So this is a schematic diagram given to you of the body of one of the nematode, the filarial nematode. Can you identify? Is it loa loa, Wucheria bancrofti, Brugia malai or Onchocerca volvulus? How to identify it? The first thing, look for the sheath. Sheath present or absent. If you look it closely, I can see the sheath. The sheath is seen at the head end. Sheath is present. See the tail. At the tail, see. This is the tail. At the tail, see the nucleus. I can see the tail is empty. There is no nucleus. So sheath present and no nucleus. So correct answer is Wucheria bancrofti. The image is not very clear. You can get a clear image also in your exam. So based on that, you can decide. So if the tail have no nucleus or two nucleus or continuous many nucleus, these three are the sheathed one. And based on the nucleus, you can divide it. You can identify in the image. The next question is in front of you. Calabar swelling is produced by. Calabar swelling, I told you, the subcutaneous big swellings. Is it Onchocerca volvulus, loa loa, Brugia malai or Wucheria bancrofti? So of course, the correct answer is loa loa. You can see the subcutaneous big swelling known as Calabar swelling. The next question is river blindness is caused by. River blindness due to punctate keratitis in the cornea. Is it Onchocerca, Loa, Ascaris or Brugia malai? Of course, the correct answer is Onchocerca. Right. So we are done. Can we revise it quickly? We are done with the filarial nematodes. So the most important we have learned in detail is Wucheria bancrofti. Wucheria bancrofti was discovered by Wucher and Bancroft, the two different scientists. To honor them, we name it Wucheria bancrofti. In the morphology, we have adult worm, we have larva. We have 4 larvae, L1, L2, L3, L4. The L3 one is the infective form. Infective form is L3 larva, which is present in the saliva of mosquito, the Culex mosquito. So mode of transmission is the bite of the Culex mosquito. In the life cycle, the definitive host is man. And the intermediate host is the Culex mosquito. Sometimes, rarely, Anopheles mosquito bite can also cause it. Clinical feature, it causes 2 types of filariasis, the occult one and the lymphatic. The lymphatic one is caused by the adult, in which elephantitis is there, and occult one is due to microfilary causing hypersensitivity reaction leading to eosinophilic granuloma. And in the lab diagnosis, we will do DEC provocation test, in which we will give the DEC, diethyl carbamazine, at 2 milligram per kg at this dose. So it will provocate the microfilary in the blood. So we take the blood sample during the daytime also instead of night. And we can do the direct microscopy, we can do quantitative Buffy method, fluorescent method, and we can do serology also, right? The treatment drug of choice is DEC only, but the dose is 6 milligram per kg. That's all about it. I hope you learned the topic well. Before ending, let me tell you something. Success is certain. Don't doubt your success. Your success is certain. The only question, how long it will take. And how long it will take, it will depend on your preparation, your dedication. That's it. Your determination. Wishing you all the best.